Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi. How you all doing? Corona is still there. Lockdown is still there in many parts of the country, which is India, which is where I'm talking to you all from. This is a Saturday, so you're seeing me in conversation with people who I believe are very interesting, and they walk the talk. And whatever it is that they teach, they've also made it their way of life. So, on that note, today I have something very interesting for you. And before I speak further, thank you for coming on to Slate with Anita. And if you have been following me, then you know that I have been in conversation with Monica from Neoway, and extremely one of the most reputed names that gets taken when the word NLP comes to mind. So we've done already two videos where we have touched upon learning excellence for kids, where Monica talks about how your child can create a movie to remember things better, and we all want to do that for our children, right? And then we did a bit on parenting. Hey, wait a minute, you're telling me that you've not watched some of the video? Please make sure you go back and watch it, okay, so that then you can come back and continue with this. So without further ado, I will want to welcome Monica on the third part of the series, which is Mastering It with Monica, where let's see what does she have to share with today. So firstly, hey Monica, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Anita. How are you doing?
Awesome. So I think you've just launched your first online practitioner program. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And may this be the first of many, many more to come. Although I know you've also launched the master practitioner program dates that are out. I was following you on Facebook and I saw that the master practitioner dates are also out. So good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. So today, Monica, I thought what will be a great gift for our viewers will be if we continue this journey a little more further and see what is a parent's ideal dream, which is to see their child as the champion in everything that they pursue, right? So, what are your thoughts, and especially keeping, let's say, today's context in mind, what are some things that parents can do to kind of get that champion in their child out?
Yeah, depending on the age of the child, I think one thing about, the whole thing about being a champion, I think it's about how we view our child, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And believing the champion is there and how we can help them to unlock it.
Yes.
Celebrating, whatever different talents, like each child and each teenager or kid, they come with different skills and different things that they're really good at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some are excellent in sports, some are awesome at music, some are really good with drawing, some are really good with dancing, maybe some with academics. So everybody has different talent, right?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, the kind of opportunities that are there for children to build these skills and hone it have so many opportunities, right? It's
Correct.
not earlier, it was restricted.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't know, like, in what area they're going to be a champion, but
Mm-hmm.
what we can is look at, okay, what is it that our child really loves and enjoys, and has a natural talent.
Correct. But this is where, Monica, I have observed certain things in parents. While they really, of course, thankfully, again, part of it is changing. While they believe that there is a champion in their child, somewhere there is also that superimposition that happens where parents try to live their dreams through the child. Okay. Or especially in a country like ours, there is that disproportionate focus that is given on academics, despite seeing evidence of the child being naturally gifted in some other area. So,
Mhm.
what is it that parents can do, especially from an NLP resources point of view, that while they are seeing what their child is good at uniquely, how can they maybe work with themselves and with their child so that they know then naturally the champion can be brought out?
See, a lot about the children's thing, it comes under what the parents really want. That is something that, I mean, they still do have the rights in some way to influence and see what's really good. And from each one's perspective, it can be what's good for the child can be very different.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, like for one parent may feel, okay, this is the way I want my child to grow up, and another parent might see it very, very different depending on their values, their beliefs, and their things. right? So it's a little hard for me to really answer that.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, because keeping in mind that it is a domain that's very personal,
Yeah.
and how they look at it. But definitely, whether unlocking different aspects which they're already good,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it will come in the way of them doing well academically or not.
And how can they go
I
about
think a
doing?
lot of parents, I think, are concerned about doing well academically.
Mhm.
Largely, I'm not saying all. Now it's changed a lot.
Yes.
The kind of parents and adults and people have changed.
Yes.
So they do encourage their children. Actually, I see a lot of children, participating in different activities, learning new skills, things that we wouldn't have heard of in our time at all. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that way, there is a lot more exposure and a lot more thinking here. But coming to your question, I'm not sure. Like when you're asking, can you tell me a little more what you would like me to?
Like to build on what you have yourself shared, that it depends on their values and beliefs as to how do they view what is right for their child.
Yeah.
Correct. Which means, do they need to undergo some changes within themselves, or can they affect some changes within themselves so that they're able to raise a child more neutrally, play the role of an observer, to where the child is doing well, or where the child seems to take to things naturally, rather than maybe, again, it happens all out of a protective instinct, of course, rather than maybe try to make the child successful from a worldly point of view, try to make the child a champion from a worldly point of view. Because see, one of the things, for example, since today we're talking about personal excellence in teens and kids, one of the things they go through is peer pressure.
Yeah.
Like, and many times it's unwittingly parents contribute to that peer pressure.
Mm-hmm.
See how ABC has done, or see how DEF has scored. So when that kind of a thing happens, don't you think it creates a slight pressure in the mind of the child, and that could affect that he could be or she could be a champion in some area, and not the area necessarily where the parents want, and how then can the parents deal with a situation like this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does create pressure from what we see with the children who come. I mean, when there are some behavior problems or difficulties, or they're facing either in school or at home, or different aspects. What we do see is when we're working with children, that they probably have some deep desires, the same things something they really want to do, and somewhere maybe either one parent or whatever might not be in alignment with that. And even if the parents try to put in what they want with the child, from largely what I see is, to some extent they may be able to excel there.
Okay.
Yeah, from what they're saying, but it may not bring out the best in them.
Right.
Right, because what's happening is there's a conflict for the child inside.
Correct.
The child may be excellent in sports, and then you usually find that children who are, as they're going after 6th, 7th, even if they're good in sports, they sometimes they give priority to the academics.
Yes.
And they start not playing as much. They put it aside.
Correct.
Yeah, and they give their best to do academically well and all, but even when they come as adults, they will have this thing that that was something that I had and I didn't explore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So most of the people who are like champions that we see, I think in the world around, from different people's stories and how they share, if we look at champions, if you look at it, that at a very young age, I think the parents believed in them. Okay, they believed in their skills, and they had or some of them may have discovered it a little later. Okay, but there was some kind of support, and that they build those skills.
Okay. So what you're trying to say is, it started with the larger belief that my child can be a champion in this area, and so I can allow him to pursue. I can like hone the skills, or let the child go in that same direction. Is that what you're
Yeah.
Okay. Because to me that's a very important point, because for parents, if that happens at the right time, in the right situation, then the child who's not able to autonomously take a call for himself or herself then gets that platform to excel and become a champion.
Yeah. When you think of a champion, who comes to your mind, Anita? Does anyone come to your mind?
uh, Vishwanathan Anand.
Okay, okay. So, what do you think? Like when you think of him, what do you think allowed him to be
Discipline.
champion? Okay,
Discipline.
okay. Do you know more about him? Because I also don't know too much about his initial, how he started and all that.
I just know the like tidbits of information. Like apparently he started playing when he was like less than 6 years old. In fact,
Hmm.
something that I also know about Sania Mirza, who again is the person who comes,
Yeah.
as a champion. And to me, what comes is from an overall life story perspective, how
Hmm.
much hardships the parents underwent, and how much equally participative they were in the discipline aspect, which means what, like the child has to land up somewhere at 5 a.m. and the
Yeah.
parents are doing the same thing, and and giving up on their own pleasure so that the child can get the right gear, the right exposure, the right travel. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
So,
discipline.
from what you're sharing, an important aspect is that the parent took,
That initiative.
the initiative
Hmm.
to help the child develop that skill and forward that dream,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like even if you see like successful actresses, especially in Bollywood,
yeah.
okay, that's also a champion in a way. I
Yes.
mean, if they're really good, you see that the parents, some of them had their parents coming into the sets and things like that, right? Even if you go to a badminton tournament and all,
Yeah.
like actually she used to work with Ashwini Ponappa from a very young age.
Hmm.
Initially, we know like her mom is the one who actually spoke to Ashlesh.
Okay.
In a tournament they met and they were next to each other, and then she is the one who said, "Why don't you start working with my daughter?"
Hmm.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, she didn't know Ashlesh. She just, I mean, he spoke about NLP, and she, had this thing that she wanted her child to do well.
Huh.
Okay, so
Yes.
the initiative did come from the parent.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So.
she was only 13 years then.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of it, like at a young age, when children are coming, a lot of it, even when they come for sports coaching, when I see
Hmm.
the initiative is from the mother or the father who is bringing the child for their sports coaching. They bring, the child doesn't know anything about, mental training for sports or anything like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I do see that in terms of taking them to the, to learn the skill or the sport,
Mhm.
the parent is taking the initiative to put them in a certain academy, see that their routine, take them in the morning, bring them back. There's a lot. They almost go with all the tournaments with the child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
there's a lot that the parents. I mean, when we study champions, we see there's a lot of involvement of the parent.
Yeah. So from basis whatever, because you've generally been exposed to NLP a lot, and you've done some work with kids as well. So what do you think happens from certain tools and techniques that we know from NLP, like whether it's reframing, whether it's anchoring, or whether it's beliefs of excellence? Is there anything specific you can point out that this is how they work with their child? Because initiative it straight away translates to the belief that they
Yeah.
are seeing that champion the child. So like that, is there anything else that you have, come across?
See, a lot that I use with NLP very indirectly with children by utilizing. In coaching we use the term utilization. That is, you utilize what is there in the space or in what the child has, and utilize that to create the coaching conversation.
Tell me more. Give me.
So yeah, like suppose somebody loves drawing, loves painting. Okay, so it may be a simple activity like any other, activity they do in school. So I would probably talk to them about their dreams, the things that they love, and things like that, and also put it out if they love to draw it or paint it. So when they're painting, a lot of their unconscious, they communicate it through painting and drawing. So they put it all out. Okay, and then each thing that is drawn, then having certain conversations to helping them to think about it.
Hmm.
Okay, so a lot of their dreams, they may have, and sometimes they don't put out what is their really what is their dream inside.
Okay.
Okay, because probably some adult or somebody's told them, that's not something to think of.
Huh.
Okay, so when we go deeper, what we see is they start suddenly saying, "I want to be an astronaut. I want to be this. I want to be, a golfer. I want to be really an top golfer. I want to be number one in this, whatever it is that they want."
Hmm.
And they start thinking out that, and we see that journey can start from there.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a simple activity that they're
Right.
doing,
Yes.
but it's like when you go into a whole thing of being curious.
Correct.
Yeah, and then understanding the world. So from an NLP, since you're asking from an NLP context, just understanding the world through their drawings.
Okay.
If children communicate at a younger age, and even with teenagers also, we have had this beautiful experience when people draw, a lot of their unconscious things come out.
Okay. So if I have to extrapolate that a little bit, are you saying that when children are still young, to pay attention to the other forms of expression that they put out, apart from conversations?
Yeah, so we can tap in from there. So everything there is, there's always that they're communicating. Children are always communicating in different ways. It is for us to pick it up.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, this is totally off from what we're talking about champion, but I just remembered, suddenly this thing came out. This was about a 2-year-old or about, I think, 2 to 3 years old child who came.
Okay.
And the parents had gotten her because she was a little more like hyperactive and things like that.
Okay.
So they came, and I think they'd come from US, and they just were there for a short while.
Okay.
So they came for a session, and they just wanted to explore like how NLP can help their child, and with what she's dealing. So she's such a small kid, right? What did you do? So we just went in onto the board, and we did some drawing and scribbling and all that. And then she sat on this. We had this one high chair that actually she uses. So she sat on that very happily. Then she started drawing. Yeah, she was actually 3. I don't think it's 2.5, 3 to 4, if I more accurate. She drew a dinosaur, a big dinosaur.
Okay. Okay.
And then she drew one small baby dinosaur next to it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And like usually that age, I've not seen them drawing the dinosaurs and things like that. She drew it. Then I asked her, okay, so who's this dinosaur? This is Mama dinosaur. This dinosaur, this is baby dinosaur. This baby dinosaur doesn't have mommy. I was like, I didn't understand anything because the parents had not given me any background. I had no understanding of it. But then I just thought, okay, there is something the child is communicating.
Yeah.
I said, okay, so then what is this big dinosaur? The dinosaur is Mama. Okay, so this baby is thing. So we had certain conversation. I just was basing what she was saying.
Sure.
But some way she was communicating something in the unconscious. But after the session, I was talking to her parent, and then it came out that actually she has just been adopted.
And the child knew that?
I am amazed that the child thinks. So I was telling them this happened. So they also didn't know that she really knows it because they just, you don't know what at a young age what children really understand or not, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and a lovely couple, lovely parents, love the child like anything. Somewhere this child is still getting used to, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was nice that she was putting it out through drawings, and I communicated that, that allowing her to draw and express. And they can complete the story of, the ma.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, this Mama dinosaur really loves this. You build it. So you're actually talking about the story, but unconsciously you're influencing the child.
Wow.
So through stories you can, actually influence, because what's happening is they are going through that experience. And since the child was identifying with the baby dinosaur, whatever you're saying to the baby dinosaur becomes about communicating to the child.
Wow.
feeling safe and things like that. So a little bit of that is what I did in the session. But for me, it was very early in this, the years that I started working with kids. So it was the first experience for me. Okay, a little kid can actually say this,
Yes, and what you shared is so fascinating because to
and
me,
that might have been driving her at being more hyperactive. So some kind of, uh, I think, a little calmer. But after that, they had to go back. So I'm not really sure how much thing,
hmm,
but it could be built on. It can be built on.
absolutely, because now it seems like the at least using the metaphor of the dinosaur, what the child communicated, maybe some reassurance from the parents' side and building, as you said,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take the child's feeling of security a long way and calm the nerves
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit.
So we've had a lot of children where when they draw, we had another program where this child had certain experiences in their house with their grandmother, and she had a lot of phobia and things like that.
Mhm.
So she drew it out. When
Hmm.
she was drawing something about something, this thing came out, and then one of the coaches actually worked in her completing the story of how she created, like certain anchors. Like in the story, she put it like a fairy and God being there and feeling safe.
Yeah.
And how we know that it's changing is like this: skin color is changing, breathing pattern is changing. And later on, it didn't seem like from the parent that in that same room that the child was feeling scared or whatever, which was happening earlier.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
then you know that this work has actually impacted. So that's one way of,
Yes.
and yeah, it's not directly related with champion, but what happens is you can draw out things from a child.
Hmm.
When all these things are not there, then they're able to bring out the best, right?
Of course, and that is what ultimately will lead to the child achieving personal excellence, or the way we are choosing to call them as champions. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
it's a champion in a way because they're getting champions with their own emotions and being champions of their own world, right? Yeah,
yes, yes. Because I distinctly remember even when Ashley spoke about the working experience with Ashwini, the work was on very similar lines to what you're describing, which is the championing of the emotions, the inner, insecurities and the fears. Or rather, I distinctly remember Ashley saying that for Ashwini it was all about just having fun and playing,
yeah.
and to her that was what being a champion meant, not the medal, not the tournament, not the locale, not the
Need to
opponent.
achieve that, but the thing is, it's driving from inside, right?
Yes.
When something drives you, then what we see, it's very automatic that they move towards it. The motivation is coming from within,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
an external push that's happening.
Right, right. Awesome. So I think one critical piece of question that I had is like, see, today, yes, on a regular day, today I think parents are very busy making their children champion, not just in one area, because multiple areas. It's like if I talk to a typical parent, then all I'm hearing about is the number of classes they are ferrying their child to and fro. So while I feel like they really do their best in bringing out the champion in their child, uh, taking today's context, when parents are like having hectic work from home schedules and the children have nowhere to really go and mingle with other children or school, what resource can they tap into so that this phase becomes just a little more easier? Although of course people might be coping with it, but if you have to guess something, then what could be a resource that they could tap into?
I think just getting creative with different activities,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the child, right? What age the child is.
Mm-hmm.
There may be things around at home itself, but getting creative of how they can engage their child,
Okay.
depending on what the child likes. Also, suppose a child loves music, and helping them to tap into that, get them to learn something in that area if they're not already learning, or build a skill.
Hmm.
Okay, because helping them to build a skill,
Hmm.
there's so many opportunities in that, right?
Right. Right.
If they take on, okay, maybe this whole time when they're not at school,
Hmm.
my child can, okay, loves music, so what can we do to take her or him to the next level?
Yeah.
They can probably design things for that, or they may have an online teacher. I don't know how it is, but I'm just saying, they can just look at different activities to build skills.
Right, right.
And the reason I'm saying it's build skills is randomly you can have things like for play,
Mm-hmm.
which engages. So one day you may play one game, another game. So that is one aspect, which is their free time and fun time,
Yeah,
which also adds, right?
of course.
But in terms of learning a skill, there's a lot of things that the child would learn. One is they would learn discipline.
Mm.
They would learn how to be able to learn a skill, develop a skill,
Mhm.
and how to be at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they might need to also take feedback to move themselves to the next level.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of skills, right?
Yes.
And if we expose them to different skills, like if it's music, it's something to do with sports or with their hands, and they're also building different aspects, their visual, auditory, kinesthetic skills, which can expand their whole potential. Because these things, skills, how they come together, you don't know. But when you open up all and unlock all your genius, the champion, and everything that's within your child,
Yeah.
okay, what we see is they become people all-rounded
Yes.
champions, right?
And that can happen even though the parents are stuck at home, because they just need to ensure that they set a system for it in place. And
Yeah, if they take a particular skill, what will happen is they can have a certain take, right? Now, if they don't pick something, then it's maybe a little difficult every day to build something.
yes.
They pick, okay, something that my child is good at or wants to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's useful to even encourage them to try new things.
Sorry, encourage them to?
Try new things, because
Try new
nobody ever knows your potential, right?
Right.
Something naturally we tend to move towards it. There are things that can expand or help us to grow, or not just adults, but I mean children to grow.
Yes.
Can help them to build different skills. So just to encourage them to take that step and then create something in that area.
Yeah. And the
Which
new
I think in these months they would probably have so much time to do that. Otherwise, they may not have it.
Yes, yes. And indirectly, they might be facilitating somebody to be a champion in a whole new area. So it could open up a lot of things. Sure. And anything else you want to add? Otherwise, I think I've got some interesting perspectives today from personal excellence for kids and teens, or how to basically bring out the champion within. Because what I'm carrying back is acute observation about how your child chooses to express and dig deeper to understand their world, communicate using that medium of expression, and especially in today's case, introducing them to newer skills, newer possibilities can also go a long way. So, any parting
Since
thoughts?
you look at the NLP aspect, like if it's a skill, okay, one way of learning a skill is like you watch a role model, somebody the child looks up to, or connects with. They always have, children always know which sports person they look up to or whoever. So they can watch videos or watch them play. Okay, so that's like having a movie of the person.
Right.
And then actually probably imagine themselves doing the same thing next to them. Okay, and once they know that that's happening, they can step into that and actually feel their muscles doing the same thing.
Right.
So it's like a mental rehearsal of it.
Correct.
It could be a sport, it could be humor, it could be acting, it could be even singing. You see your role model singing. How do they sing?
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes we may just pay attention to how they're looking. But if you look at musicians, a lot of them you'll have them. Because what they're doing is their focus is on their
ears,
getting the sound. So you see that they would be more things. So just a little bit, okay, and where is the sound coming from? Do they open their mouth wide? Do they do things? So when you start noticing and then you start doing similar things, then it becomes easy to replicate the skill. Okay, so from an NLP aspect, that's something that one can do. Like, watch a movie of your role model. Okay, initially see for those unconscious signals. Okay, if I'm doing it very logically, if we are telling a child to do it very logically, see this, it may not come so naturally. But when you watch, you'll see the signals that the child might actually do the same thing.
Right, right.
Then you know they're connecting, their unconscious is connecting, there's something to move. So then that may be a role model they can use to help the child learn the skill,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and build any of those skills.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense to me because I think that unconscious communication is feedback to the parent.
Yeah,
The interest or the lack of it, for that matter,
yeah.
can help them fine tune in these times even better because they have a lot of time on their hand.
Useful to have a role model so that they
Of
probably
course,
will follow their work, imitate. Initially, it may look like imitating, then they may actually start replicating it, step
right.
into it, and start doing the same thing. Uh,
Absolutely.
a good thing, I think, to have a routine and build a skill.
Yes, yes.
Valuable time available now, right?
True. So yes, thank you so much for your thoughts, Monica. And I do think my viewers will get a fair perspective about how to really continue doing their job to unleash the champion in their child. So thank you for sharing your thoughts today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anita. Yeah, it was lovely having this conversation with you.
Absolutely, true that. I'll bring you back some other time. But as of now, you were watching Mastering It with Monica, where Monica has shared some great insights which can help the parent child engagement be really, really deep. And I think why both of us probably have chosen NLP as the main route to convey that, because it's a very empowering space to operate from, because NLP is probably the only school of thought which believes that you have all the resources within you, and all you got to do is consciously keep trying to tap into it, right, Monica?
Yeah, yeah, Anita.
Thank you. So thank you, viewers. Keep watching Slate with Anita, and I'll come back to you next week.
Yeah,
Thank you.
see you. Bye.